Thank you, Madam Chair, for holding this committee meeting. Mr. Secretary, two questions. The first question has to do with some language that Chairman Rogers and Nita Lowry helped us put into the appropriation bill this last year that calls that every head of each agency for the first time as they prepare your funding request, you should link it directly to your performance measures under GIPRA. So this is the first time we've done that. I would ask your folks to look at that. Problem is that when you look at the performance that y'all have, and I don't want to embarrass anybody, but I would ask that all the smart people who are sitting behind you to look and redo those performance measures, because if we put in $1 of taxpayers' dollars, we expect to be able to measure that $1 that we gave you. And with all due respect, the measures that you have there don't tell us that at all. So I would ask you just to have your folks to take a look at that. Number two, I agree also with Chairman Ranger also, where your budget, your proposal is basically the same, but I think you substituted a lot of the bipartisan work that we did in this subcommittee for some of the agencies or the administration's priorities. For example, the Republic of Mexico, as you know, I live on the border and I breathe and I drink the water. I'm very familiar with it. You know, we always complain about what's happening across the river and the drug cartels, and as you know, they just got the godfather of all drug dealers across the world recently. But the cuts that y'all did, and without going to specific cuts, y'all went down and cut all the specific cuts to a neighbor that has a large impact. I mean, the large number of cocaine that comes into the U.S. will come in through that country. And with all that, I would ask you to, again, to look at those cuts and ask you to reconsider that. And I'm sure the subcommittee in a bipartisan way will look at those cuts. I understand, you know, Mexico is going through a great economic transformation, energy, education, telecommunication, finance reform, everything that President Peña Nieto has been done. But on the security part, I just have a concern as we spend so much money on the U.S. side that I'd rather spend a little bit of money on the other side. And the more we stop on the other side, you know, the less of a burden will be us. So I would ask you, I know we're out of time and I want to be considerate. I'm gonna, you can get back to me later.
You're going to be helpful on the time. I appreciate it. I'll just take 15 seconds to answer your question. On Mexico, our request specifically reflects money in the pipeline. And it does not, in fact, translate into a reduction in any priority or effort. And the same is true for Colombia. Colombia has an increased capacity to be able to do the things we've worked for in Plan Colombia, and the same in Mexico for the Merida Plan. So we feel very much as if there's adequate funding there, and we have the resources in the budget because of the pipeline to be able to do the things that we need to do. And we're going to draw down on it. It's going to flatten out, and we won't have that ability next year. So this is the problem as we begin to draw on those, you know.
Right, and I'm going to give up my time to say, but all I ask you, if you can send maybe Roberta Jacobson, she understands Mexico very well. I'd love to sit down because I slightly disagree with your statements on that, but I'd be happy to sit down.
Well, let's work it through. I'm happy to sit with all my smart people sitting back here.
All right. Well, include Roberta Jacobson. I yield back the balance of my time. Thank you.